Howdy folks, I'm Owen Williams, co-founder here at Ritual Brewing Company. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about gas. Not this kind of gas, serving gas, the gas that we use in order to push the beer out of the kegs and going through the faucet. You saw how we fill a growler, how we fill a crowler, how we pour a beer. Now I want to explain how we get that beer out of the keg and how do you keep it from getting oxidized so that you don't introduce oxygen that helps degrade the beer. You don't want that. So we have a CO2 tank here, low pressure, high pressure. So this tells us how much is in this tank. So it's CO2, carbon dioxide. It's beverage grade. Then we have nitrogen, which is compressed, which is also a beverage grade gas. And so you have serving pressure in here, and then this what's left in the tank. You can see this one's down in the red. It's almost ready to be changed out, which is easy to do. There's a tool, instructions to show you how to change things out. And then this is a gas blender. What this does is this takes mostly nitrogen and it blends it with CO2. So 88% CO2, which would be what 12% nitrogen that's in this one, and it's the opposite over here. And we had it balanced for our altitude and usual barometric pressure where we're at. So this is all based upon Henry's Law. Henry's Law says the gas will go into solution at a certain pressure and a certain temperature. CO2 goes into beer easier than nitrogen. Nitrogen has a hard time going into the solution and has a hard time coming out of solution. So it has to be served at a higher pressure and then it has to get agitated. You have to kind of tick off nitrogen in order to coax it out of solution to make it degas, and you can see that with a type of nitro beer that we serve here. We did this on Sweet and Easy. So CO2 and nitrogen, so these work as top pressure. So the nitrogen kegs or nitro beers are served mostly with nitrogen, a little bit of CO2 in it. The other beers are served with mostly CO2 with a little bit of nitrogen in it. This helps the beer not get oversaturated in gas, so that when you're down to the last quarter of the keg that it winds up being all foam. And you don't want that. You want it to just fall right out of the faucet. So you have to watch your pressure, make sure it's not 100% CO2, because that's going to make your beer very gassy towards the end of the keg, and that it has some nitrogen in with it. It's called a gas blend.